They were the kind of couple strangers stop to compliment in restaurants, picture perfect, smiling wide for vacation selfies, matching sun hats and cocktails in hand. From the outside, it looked like a dream marriage. But what no one saw was the tension hiding behind those curated Instagram posts, or the sinister truth waiting to surface beneath the turquoise waves of Key West. April Monroe had always been the planner, methodical, organized, a school counselor from Charleston, South Carolina with a heart for kids and a deep love for her husband, Grant. Their 10th anniversary was supposed to be a fresh start. A week in paradise. No fights. No secrets. Just them. But by the third day, April was gone. She vanished without warning during a snorkeling excursion just a few miles off the coast. Grant told authorities she drifted out too far and must have been caught in a rip current. He said he'd yelled, dove after her, even scraped his knees on coral trying to bring her back. But no one else had seen it. The boat crew couldn't verify his account. There was no body, no witnesses, and the Coast Guard search came up empty. April was presumed drowned. A tragic accident. But not everyone bought it. April's sister, Monica, flew down the same day the news broke. Something didn't sit right with her. She'd spoken to April just 12 hours before she vanished, and April had sounded tense. Uneasy. Almost afraid. "We'll talk when I get back," she'd whispered on the phone, voice barely audible. "There's something I need to tell you." But she never got the chance. Monica pressed authorities, begged them to dig deeper. But with no physical evidence and a husband who appeared visibly devastated, there was little they could do. Then Monica got hold of Grant's phone. At first, it was accidental. Grant had asked her to pack up April's things from their shared hotel room. The phone had been left charging by the bed. Curiously, it was wiped clean. Call logs gone. Messages deleted. Except one. A single email notification, still lingering in the trash folder. Payment confirmation, $14,800 wired to Aaron B. for consulting services. The timestamp? 2 days before April disappeared. Monica knew that name. Aaron Benson. A guy Grant had worked with years ago, a Navy vet with a criminal record sealed behind multiple aliases. She brought it straight to the police. What followed was a digital deep dive that blew the case wide open. Forensic techs recovered fragments of deleted texts and emails from Grant's cloud backup. The contents? Chilling. Conversations with Aaron discussing timing, remote location, and making it look clean. Even GPS coordinates cross-referenced with the snorkeling site. A folder labeled Exit Plan held screenshots of passport applications, bank transfers to offshore accounts, and real estate listings in Belize. Grant wasn't planning a fresh start with April. He was planning life without her. Investigators confronted him, but Grant stayed calm. Too calm. He claimed it was a prank. A dumb, escape fantasy. Nothing more. But then came the final nail in the coffin, a deleted video file, recovered and partially reconstructed. It showed Aaron, blurry and shirtless, on the boat deck. Behind him, April was screaming, tied at the wrists, pleading for her life. The camera jostled as if someone dropped it mid-recording, ending with a splash. The video was only 14 seconds long. But it was enough. Grant Monroe was arrested that night for conspiracy to commit murder. But what happened to April? Her body had never been found. There was no physical proof of death, only the video, the motive, and a mountain of digital evidence. Prosecutors had a case, but it wasn't airtight. And Grant's attorney? One of the best in Florida. The trial drew national attention. Cameras camped outside the courthouse. True crime forums exploded with theories. But for Monica, none of it mattered unless justice was served, not just for April, but for every woman who'd ever trusted the wrong man. And then, just when the case seemed to reach a boiling point, a twist no one saw coming. A tip came in from a fisherman 60 miles south of Key West. He'd been salvaging old crab traps when he spotted something unusual caught in the reef, a waterproof dive bag, sealed tight with duct tape and zip ties. Inside were two items, April's wedding ring, and a burner phone. The contents of that phone would shatter everything. Because what that phone revealed wasn't just about April. It was about who helped, and who else needed to be silenced. Before we delve deeper, kindly subscribe, like and comment your thoughts in the comments section. The burner phone was scorched from saltwater exposure. Its casing was warped, the screen spiderwebbed. But it still powered on. Detective Marissa Doyle stood over the evidence table in the Key West precinct, eyes locked on the screen as the forensic tech scrolled through what was left of its memory. There weren't many files. Just a handful of voice recordings, a few blurred images, and one message thread. But it was enough to shift the entire case. The first voice note was dated 2 nights before April's disappearance. "If anything happens to me, Monica," this was Grant. "He's not who he pretends to be. I found out things I can't unsee. I think he's planning something. Please don't believe what he says." It was April's voice. Shaky, terrified, breathless, like she was hiding in a closet. Detective Doyle looked over at Monica, whose face had gone sheet white. She reached out instinctively, like she needed to touch something solid. "I begged her to come home," Monica whispered. "She said she had to see it through. That she wanted to give him one last chance to come clean." The tech handed over a printout of the recovered messages. The exchange was between April and a contact saved only as R, short for Rachel. They'd later confirm, April's old college roommate who now lived in Miami. "April, he's been getting phone calls in the middle of the night. Names I don't recognize." One of them asked if the job was still on. He laughed. "Rachel, leave. Right now. Call the police. April, I need proof first. Just one more day." The tragedy was, April had tried to be smart. Cautious. She'd created a digital trail. Backups. But it hadn't been enough to save her. Grant Monroe had already been charged with conspiracy and obstruction, but with no body, no confirmed cause of death, and an airtight defense painting April as paranoid and emotionally unstable, the prosecution's case was fragile. The burner phone changed everything. It was the missing piece. And as Monica sat with April's recordings that night in the hotel room, her grief gave way to something colder, resolve. But even that peace would be short-lived. The next morning, Monica woke up to a call from Rachel, April's college friend. She was crying. Hysterical. "Monica, someone broke into my apartment. I think they were looking for her journal. The one I kept from college. It's gone." Rachel had never posted her address publicly. walking down a Tampa sidewalk, looking over her shoulder. How many more, she whispered to herself. How many other women trusted this man? Meanwhile, Grant Monroe sat in county jail, expression calm, cold, calculated. He hadn't spoken a word since his arrest. Not even to his lawyer. Until the press release about Isabel hit the news. That's when he asked for a private meeting with Detective Doyle. No lawyer. No cameras. Just one request. I'll tell you everything, he said, his voice low and measured. But only if you bring me Monica. Before we delve deeper, kindly subscribe, like and comment your thoughts in the comments section. They brought Monica in just after midnight. She sat across from Grant in the dim, windowless interrogation room, a single table, 2 metal chairs, and a silence so thick it hummed. Two-way glass divided them from the detectives watching outside. Monica didn't flinch. Grant looked different in orange. Smaller. Paler. But his eyes, they hadn't changed. Still cold. Still calculating. You said you'd talk, Monica said, folding her arms across her chest. So talk. Grant leaned forward slowly, the chains around his wrists clinking against the table. You don't know what she did. Monica blinked. Excuse me. April. She wasn't innocent, he said, voice steady. She lied to you. To everyone. She wasn't running from me, she was running from herself. Monica didn't say anything. She just stared, waiting. I didn't kill her, Grant whispered. I helped her disappear. There it was. The twist. The deflection. The classic pivot from predator to victim. Detective Doyle, watching through the glass, leaned in closer. She wanted out, Grant continued. She didn't trust you, didn't trust the system. Said if she went to the cops, it'd all blow up. So she came to me. Asked me to make it clean. Make it believable. The snorkeling accident, that was her idea. You expect me to believe April staged her own death? Monica snapped. Not just her. Grant leaned back. Isabel too. Monica's heart stopped. What are you talking about? Grant smiled, a slow, smug curve of his lips. You think I'm the mastermind? I was the pawn. They found each other. They planned this. Both of them. Doyle stormed into the room. Enough games, she snapped. You've lied since day one. You want to talk? Start with where you buried April's body. Grant looked at her, then back at Monica. There is no body. He slid a folded piece of paper across the table. On it was a name and a location, Cassandra Hale. St. Joseph, Missouri. Start there, he said. The next morning, Monica flew to Missouri with 2 detectives. Cassandra Hale was a local boutique owner, mid-40s, soft-spoken, and nervous the moment they showed her April's photo. She invited them inside her shop. The place smelled like sandalwood and fresh linen. A tiny bell jingled above the door. I knew this day would come, Cassandra said, pulling down the blinds. She said if someone ever came looking, it meant the plan had failed. You know April? Monica asked, her voice barely a whisper. Cassandra nodded. She stayed here. Just a few nights. I don't know where she went after that. Detective Doyle stepped forward. How did she know you? She didn't, Cassandra said. She knew Isabel. They met in a trauma support group back in 19. Both survivors. Both running from men they couldn't escape. It was true. April and Isabel had reconnected in secret. Their shared trauma bonded them. Both women suspected Grant of murdering Isabel's best friend years ago, a woman named Natalie who had vanished under similar accidental circumstances. But there'd never been proof. So they went underground. They staged deaths. Faked identities. Created an entire web of aliases to escape Grant, and expose him. But something had gone wrong. They stopped contacting me about 6 months ago, Cassandra said. I assumed they were safe. That's when Monica handed her a photo, the bloodied life vest from the Ocala storage unit. Cassandra's face changed. That's not April's, she said. She never owned that brand. But Isabel did. Doyle stiffened. Back in Key West, they re-examined the life vest. Forensics had rushed the analysis before. Now, under closer examination, it became clear, the initials were smudged. It didn't read AM, it read IW. Isabel Wolf. That wasn't April's blood. It was Isabel's. The next break came from an unlikely source, a mechanic in Sarasota who recognized Isabel's photo from the news. She came in last month, he said. Wanted the plates changed. Paid in cash. Surveillance footage from his garage confirmed it. Isabel was alive. Frazzled. Paranoid. She wore a hoodie pulled low, sunglasses at night. The timestamp? Just 3 days before Grant's arrest. But here's what blew the lid off everything, she wasn't alone. April was with her. The two women were alive, together. And they were running again. The footage cut to the two women driving off in a gray 2009 Honda Civic with stolen tags. Direction, north. By the time Monica returned to Charleston, her hands were trembling. She couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. All this time, she'd mourned April, planned her funeral in her head, imagined her face underwater, eyes wide, lungs filled with salt. Now. She wasn't sure if she was angry or relieved. April was alive. But she hadn't trusted her enough to say goodbye. Had she really been in danger? Or had she become something darker in the process? Doyle called that night. They made a mistake, she said. Checked into a motel just outside Cincinnati. April used a fake ID, but the clerk ran her plate. Got spooked. Called it in. A state trooper had stopped the car 20 minutes later. No resistance. No drama. Two women, tired and silent, surrendered without a word. April Monroe and Isabel Wolf were taken into federal custody. Monica sat in stunned silence as Doyle relayed the details. So that's it, she asked. They're safe. Doyle hesitated. Not exactly. What do you mean? They weren't alone. Monica's stomach sank. Who was with them? Doyle exhaled slowly. A third woman. Younger. 17. No ID. Terrified. Said she was running too, from a man who knew Grant. Monica stared out the window, her thoughts spiraling. April wasn't running away, Doyle said quietly. She was building a case. A chain. Each woman leading to another. Isabel was the first. April was the second. This girl might not be the last. Are they pressing charges? We're still sorting that out. But there's more. Doyle's voice dropped to a whisper. The girl gave us a name. And Monica, it's not someone we had on our radar. It's someone close. Close how? Doyle paused. And then said the name. Monica's breath caught in her throat. It was someone she knew. Someone she trusted. Someone who had helped her search for April from the beginning. Before we delve deeper, kindly subscribe, like and comment your thoughts in the comments section. The name Detective Doyle whispered over the line clung to Monica like oil. Ethan Rourke. Her ex-boyfriend. April's old neighbor. The man who brought coffee the morning after April vanished, who helped post flyers, who cried at the vigil in Charleston with tears that looked too clean now. He'd even comforted Monica when Grant was first arrested, arms around her shoulder, eyes solemn, voice steady. And now he was part of it. Ethan, she whispered, half to herself. He helped them search for April. He also helped them hide, Doyle said. According to the girl, Ethan provided safe houses, burner phones, and fake IDs. He has ties to a private network of ex-military operatives. Off-the-book security contractors. People who disappear for a living. Monica's knees buckled beneath her. She sat down slowly, the room spinning around her. He was grooming her, Doyle added, referring to the 17-year-old they found with April and Isabel. She escaped before it went too far. April found her at a trauma shelter in Pensacola and brought her into the fold. This wasn't just a getaway, it was a rescue chain. Monica struggled to breathe. All this time, April had been building a case, not just against Grant, but against men like him. Predators hiding behind good looks, charm, and tailored smiles. And Ethan Rourke had been one of them. By the time the FBI raided Ethan's cabin on the outskirts of Savannah, he was gone. Passport gone. Bank accounts wiped. A car torched and left behind. He was already running. In federal custody, April refused to speak to media. She released one handwritten statement through her attorney. I did what I had to do. I made myself small, quiet, invisible, because every time I spoke up, no one believed me. I wasn't trying to escape justice. I was collecting it, one woman at a time. The internet exploded. Hashtag April Monroe trended for a week. Some hailed her a vigilante. Others called her a fraud. A few accused her of faking trauma for attention. But none of that mattered to Monica when she walked into the sterile, silent interview room for the first time in 254 days. April looked thinner. Harder. The warm glow in her face was gone, replaced with something colder. Something forged. But her eyes, they still searched Monica's face the way they used to. Carefully. Like someone reaching into the dark. I'm sorry, April said softly. For not calling. For making you think I was dead. Monica stood motionless. You lied to me, she finally said. I buried you in my heart. I know, April whispered. But if I'd told you, they'd have come after you too. A long silence stretched between them. Then Monica stepped forward and gripped her sister's hands through the cuffs. I should have believed you sooner, she said. But I'm here now. Tears welled in April's eyes. It's not over. Monica nodded. I know. Federal prosecutors dropped all murder charges against April and Isabel after evidence of the rescue network surfaced, including messages, testimonies, and the girl's sworn statement. Instead, both women cooperated with a joint task force targeting a broader trafficking ring operating through Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. Grant Monroe, however, wasn't so lucky. The state reinstated murder charges, this time for Isabel Wolf's friend Natalie, after a shallow grave was found on a property Grant used to own in Boone, North Carolina. Her remains were identified by dental records. Grant's reaction when he heard the news? He laughed. Good for them, he said. At his trial, Monica testified. So did April. So did 3 other women who had once known him, women who had come forward after seeing the case unfold on national news. One by one, they painted a portrait of a man who wore empathy like a costume, a husband who knew how to cry on command and disappear when things got messy. The jury deliberated for 2 days. Guilty. Life without parole. No possibility of release. In the final moments before sentencing, Grant turned to Monica in the courtroom. Calm. Composed. She lied to you, he said. Monica stared at him. No. She protected me. Then the guards led him away, and he didn't look back. A year later, April lives under a new name. She works quietly with survivor support programs, mostly off-grid, rarely photographed. Isabel moved to Washington State, where she volunteers at a wildlife rescue. The teenage girl, identified only as Emily for privacy, is now in therapy and enrolled in school. Monica kept the dive bag that started it all. She keeps it in a locked cabinet in her home, not out of trauma, but as a reminder. That silence isn't safety. That being believed shouldn't require proof soaked in blood. She launched a non-profit called the Chain Project, in honor of the invisible lifeline April created, linking one survivor to another. Within 6 months, it had already assisted 12 women across 3 states. Monica visits April once a month. They don't talk about the ocean, or the day she disappeared. That grief still sits between them like a folded letter neither wants to read. But they're rebuilding, in slow, quiet ways. Not as sisters who lost everything, but as women who finally chose to stop running. 2 months after Grant's sentencing, Detective Doyle received a flash drive in a manila envelope with no return address. Inside was drone footage. Grainy. Shaky. But clear enough to make out the cabin in Savannah, the same one Ethan Rourke had abandoned. There was a figure standing in the tree line. Hands in his pockets. Watching. Waiting. Then the camera zoomed in, frame by frame. And just before the video cut out, the man looked up, directly at the lens. It was Ethan. He was still out there. Still hunting. And now, he knew who was looking for him. The end. Or maybe just the beginning.